Sooner Nation, welcome back to the Sipping Sooner, man. Let's not waste too much time today, man. We finna break down this Bedlam matchup, man. Corso, you ready? I'm ready, man. Let's go ahead, man. Drop the intro, man. All right. Right out of the gates, man. I've already said it. You know that this game means a lot to the people here in the state of Oklahoma, especially the kids that are from Oklahoma. They just get that extra boost. You know what I mean? They've grown up dreaming and thinking about playing in this game, most of them. Not to say that the out-of-state kids, don't feel the same way. It's just different, man. It's just different when you raised here all your life and you watched all the games throughout the years, So, hey, this game means a lot. First and foremost, let's go OU defense first. First objective, we already know, stop Ollie Gordon. This cat, man, excellent speed, excellent strength, excellent vision. And like I said in my other video, you get caught slipping, he will put your ass on Sports Center, man. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Yeah. Now, the OSU offense is going to be a break for the defense in theory. Scheme-wise. They played the two UCF and Kansas, ranked 1 and 2 in trick plays and motion and pre-snap movement and all that jazz. They don't have to worry about as much eye candy trying to confuse you. OSU now, they might decide to do a little bit of that after they done seen us struggle the last 2 weeks. But usually teams don't try to change up too much from what they've been doing. You don't want to confuse your own players. So we'll just have to see what Mike Gundy's approach is. Usually, I'll tell you, one of his approaches is he usually freezes up in this game. But what they say, I digress. But in my opinion, man, OSU's offense is, I'm not going to call it basic, but it's pretty vanilla. And if our defense plays up to their capability, man, I don't see no reason why we shouldn't be able to win this game. Like I said, if you start with stopping Ollie Gordon, make those tackles, because he will make you miss. He will run through your arm tackles, and he got a little wiggle to him too, man. You know what I'm saying? Kind of look like me out there. But you got to make those plays, man. This should be a big game for Jaren Kanak. I know we've been giving him a little bit of shit, but, this should be a better game for him. Should be one of his better games. Because, like I said, he shouldn't be as confused, And I guess that's an area where we should have cut him a little bit of slack. Like you said, when you playing UCF in Kansas and you're a young linebacker, you're going to be a little, confused, And once you get confused, it basically takes away all your aggressiveness. You can't really attack the ball because you unsure of what you actually think you seeing. You're not quite as sure of yourself. So that's going to slow you down. Matter of fact, this all you got to do is think back to last year's defense. The whole defense was confused. So that's why they couldn't use their speed or their athleticism to make plays, man, So should see him play a better game, It's still going to be some mistakes because that's just how it goes for a young player. But, it should be a lot better this week for him. Let's see. I mean, like I said, you might get to see OSU use a little bit more motion than they have, because, I mean, they watch film too, just like we do, so their objective is to score, so hey, we'll see how it all plays out, man. I mean, outside of that, outside of Ollie Gordon, they got a decent receiving core, I mean, it's nothing that this defense shouldn't be able to handle. You know what I mean? I mean, Alan Bowman, we seen him when he was at Texas Tech. Matter of fact, I think we the ones that collapsed his lung when he was there. I don't know. I'm almost certain it was us that he took that lick and that was a wrap. So he played at Texas Tech like 2 years, left there, went to Michigan, basically just sat on the bench, wasn't used. Then now he shows up at OSU. He is, I mean, he's a decent quarterback, I mean, surely, if you just give him a wide open receiver, he will make you pay. But, I mean, I don't see any scenario where he goes out and beats you. I think this is really going to just come down to, can we stop Ollie Gordon? If we do that, should be looking good for us, man. Tell you the truth. I mean, I ain't trying to talk shit on him or nothing like that, but I mean, it's just the facts, man. I mean, we've seen enough sample size of him to know pretty much what he's capable of, and so that it is what it is. So, I mean, I really don't have a whole lot more to say about their offense. Like I said, they got, a few pieces, but, we'll see. Now, the defensive line has to get penetration, man. Now, this, we've been hearing all week, how bad the defensive line was last week, how ineffective they was. It was like they was in the witness protection program. They was missing like hell. But one thing that, a lot of us forgot about or didn't think about is that for the last 2 weeks against UCF and Kansas, it was drilled over and over and over in their head about the eye discipline. And watch out for the misdirection, the trick plays. And I think it got to the point, man, and maybe, Brent, if you put some truth serum in him, maybe he would admit this a little bit, that I think it got drilled in their head so much that it actually hurt our defensive line. Don't get me wrong, you have to be aware of these things. But at the same time, man, those guys probably was like, man, they couldn't be aggressive, because they was kind of like Kanik, man, wasn't trusting what they was seeing. They was scared to be the guy to bust on the play, they got to come out and get penetration into that backfield this week, try to get to Ollie Gordon before he gets to his top end speed. Because once he gets to his top end speed, man, he's a load to bring down, man. So I think, as long as the defensive line isn't out there hesitating and they playing loose, man, just play loose, go out there, fly around. If you make a mistake, at least do it while you playing fast, man. You know what I mean? Because we got to be able to make them a factor. Now, OSU, they use a lot of max protect when they do decide to throw the ball. So get ready for that. That's going to also be an issue. But at the same time, I mean, we seen Max protect pretty much 85-90% of this season from other teams anyway. So that's nothing new. All right, let's talk a little offense. Man. All right, well, you know where it starts and ends. It starts and ends with Mr. Jeffrey. I do have a feeling that Jeffrey's going to call a better game this week, or I'm hoping that he does. And let me just start by saying this, man. Y'all already know, like I keep telling y'all, me and Jeffrey, we like this, we tight. But nobody gives Jeffrey as much shit as me. Because it's because I love him, man. I want him to do better, man. I really do. That being said, I know a lot of people want Jeffrey gone and whatnot. I don't want Jeffrey gone. I actually believe if he was to be gone after this season, it wouldn't do nothing but hurt us even more. You know, sometimes we need to realize that when he was at UCF, he was under offensive coach in Heupel. Okay, so Heupel had the last word on it. Heupel wasn't finna let him call no dumbass play. Then he went to Ole Miss under Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin wasn't finna let him call no dumbass play. Matter of fact, Lane Kiffin took it one step further and implemented some of his plays into Jeffrey's playbook. But then Jeffrey promptly showed his ass up here in Norman and took those plays right back out of his playbook. He should have kept those plays in. Because when I was doing my research and watching what Jeff Lebby was doing when he was at Ole Miss, I thought that's the offense he was going to bring here. And it has not been the same offense. The way that he used his receivers and running backs at Ole Miss was nothing like he does here. Those guys was playing. I don't know if it's because, you know, talent-wise, they were supposed to be, you know, in the SEC going against Alabama and LSU and Georgia and them, where he felt like he needed to be more aggressive, you know, more hard-nosed, I guess that's the word. But them boys used to be physical. I mean, he had a 3-4 running back rotation there, and all of those guys got off, man. All of them did on a consistent basis. And he had Drummond out there, a wide receiver, along with Mingo and a couple of other players. Man, that ain't what we've been seeing here, you know, unfortunately. But, you know, we'll see how he evolves, because this still is his first opportunity to call his own plays and be his own boss, you know, basically. You know, so, I mean, I guess that's a way of saying that basically everybody on this team is just young and early in their careers, man. Brent's young and early, making coaching mistakes, you know, with his time management, clock management, however you want to say it. Jeffrey still needs to learn how to read the down and distance and what's appropriate to run in those situations. Man. But anyway, all that to say, man, if Jeffrey was to leave here or go to some other school or take a head coaching job somewhere else, it's going to set us back, man. I mean, Jackson Arnold, even though he played a similar offense when he was in high school, it's still things about this offense that he's still trying to learn, you know. And if Dylan goes to the league, then we stuck here with Jackson, and which is the plan. Don't get me wrong, that's the plan. But the thing is that if Jeff was to leave, for one, would Jackson go with him? And even if he doesn't go with him, that means that in this entire offense has to now pivot and learn a whole new offense of whoever he decides to bring in. I don't think we really truly want that. We want Jeff to call the game better. Yes, we do. I don't really think we want to start over from square one going into year one in the SEC. I don't know about you, but I damn sure don't want that. I don't know what we're going to have to do. Hopefully, Jeff can figure this out. But in the meantime, man, we just going to have to deal with it, man. We can get pissed off, break shit, throw shit around the room, but we just going to have to deal with it. All right, now let's get back to it. OSU, they play a 3-3-5, but an aggressive kind of 3-3-5. Not the Iowa State umbrella, let me sit back and play bitch ball 3-3-5. This is they bring their safeties down into the box, not for the zone purposes, but to attack the line of scrimmage. So even though you got 3 guys on the line of scrimmage and we'll all be screaming, run the ball, you can still run the ball, but it's deceiving. You can't really just run it up the middle because that makes it even easier for those safeties to just come straight forward and fill those gaps. What you have to do is you have to hit those edges, man. You got to get on the edges, make those guys pursue at an angle, and then they've shown that, sometimes that's a weakness when they have to come at that angle. Not every player takes good angles. And even if they do take good angles, not every player is good at tackling at an angle, which, seemed like it would be easier to tackle at an angle than head on, but whatever. So, yeah, they play their 3-3-5, like I said, an aggressive style. It's not to sit back and let's see if we can have 8 guys looking into your eyes trying to decide where you're going to throw the ball. Matter of fact, OSU almost basically invites you to throw the ball. So I expect Jeffrey to let Dylan throw the ball. Please, Jeff. Please, man. My throat can't take it. So, yeah, like I said, you just need to get to the edges, man. And, that's once we start doing that, that's going to, bring those safeties up even more. And you know what you need to do then, Jeff. Put Brendan Thompson in the game and bust their ass deep. Play action, go over the top. Like I said, I don't care if he catches it the first couple of times. Eventually, he needs to catch it. But the objective off the rip is just to make them honor the deep pass. You got to make them honor that shit. That's how we open up the rest of the run game and make this game a whole lot easier than it doesn't need to be difficult. You don't have to make this game difficult. All right. And another thing that you might see, you go back to the Texas blueprint with Dylan running the ball. I think that he should have a lot of green grass if he decides to, tuck it and take off and run, man, on some of these plays. Those, like I said, those safeties coming down into the box, they're very aggressive, man. They don't hesitate. They don't wait around for anything to develop. As soon as they believe that it's a run, they coming, man. They not finna sit back and go, well, no, they bringing that ass. So we don't know if what Tywee's status is, if he's gonna play or not. So we don't know if Marcus Major's shoulder's feeling better. So we might be back to the duo that we thought we was gonna have at the beginning of the season, which is Javonte and Gavin. So if Sawchuk and Barnes can hit the edges, go off tackle, man. You don't have to go off center guard. Go off tackle, get some yards, start making those linebackers and safeties come down into the box. I'm telling you, the play action is gonna be there. It's gonna be there. And like I said, the flip side is when you throwing the ball deep to Brendan Thompson or Nick Anderson, that's also going to make those guys back up some. So once you get them to back up, hey, you got to cash in, man. You got to make it count, man, on those run plays, man. I don't want to see any. I'm not going to. Yeah, I am. I was going to say I didn't want to see any dumb calls, but yeah, they dumb calls, man. Jeffrey's up in the box, man. He can see what these teams is doing, man. He needs to he needs to adjust on the fly. You know, he needs to pay attention to those safeties and those linebackers and what they doing. If they dropping back, then hey, hit them with the run. They coming up, bomb on their ass. You know what I'm saying? Because there is no excuse. Brandon Thompson, whether you throw him the ball or not, needs to be in the game at least every other series. And he needs to be just running go route after go route after go route. And just to let those guys know that, man, we got to keep defending this dude. Just run that cornerback all the way out of the field. Run him out the play, whether we throw it to him or not. Keep him honest, man. And then that'll force one of those safeties, because sometimes they got 3 safety look. It'll force one of them to go deep and just to bracket him off or help on that corner. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if he gets past one of those cornerbacks, he's gone. They are not catching him. They can't run with him. He's too fast. All right, let's get to the other things that's going to decide this game. You already know, rule number 1, they can't have 11 down penalties for 101 yards like they did in the Kansas game. You can't do it. Can't do it. This is going to be a much louder environment than Kansas. This is a team, and even though Kansas hadn't beaten us in forever, some of you ain't never experienced a loss to Kansas. This is one that both teams, us and OSU, we want this game. That's gonna be, like I said, long-term bragging rights, man. This game ain't gonna get played for a while. So, I mean, like I said, I can't imagine. I don't really hang around a lot of OSU fans or know a lot, but I know it's something out there. But man, if you could you imagine losing this game and having to listen to your buddy or your coworker or somebody talking shit for the next several years? Anytime you bring up OU, they're gonna be like, yeah, we did whoop y'all ass the last game. You got to hear that shit, because you can't go back and rectify that shit for a long time, man. Eventually, they will play again. We know this, but we already know as long as Mike Gundy's there, it ain't gonna happen. They'd rather go play Central Michigan and Eastern Kentucky. They ain't trying to see these hands no more. Yeah, penalties can't happen. Turnovers. Gotta have ball security in this game, man. That's the only way that they're gonna be able to even this game out. They not gonna be able to line up man for man and beat us. That ain't how it's gonna work. We gonna have to help them, just like we helped Kansas. Now they had turnovers. Kansas had turnovers too. We kind of helped them in the play calling department, but we done moved on, right? All right. Special teams, man. Special teams. Ooh-wee. I mean, we thought we found our punter last week. He had a setback. Maybe this week, in drier conditions, maybe he does better. But, I don't know, man. I mean, special teams is a crapshoot right now for us, man. We don't know what we're going to get. So hopefully they won't hurt us too bad. And, kick return, punt return. Hopefully we don't have any muffs. Hopefully we don't have any fumbles. And then, like I said, man, the crowd noise. It ain't the biggest stadium in the world, but better believe, man, they got all those fools up there banging paddles and shit. So it's gonna be rowdy, man. It's gonna be rowdy. And like I said, I hope and pray that none of these Oklahoma players are sitting here looking and saying, it's OSU, and not understanding the magnitude of this game or what this atmosphere is going to be like. I mean, I don't need to see Andrew Rain snapping the ball over Dylan's head or snapping the ball when he ain't ready for the ball. I don't need to see none of that shit, man. Andrew Rain's been there 4 damn years. Dylan Gabriel done played a lot of football, man. I don't need to see mistakes from those guys. If you're a freshman or something like that, I'll give you a mistake here or there. But hell, I don't even want to see that. I need these boys to come out and punish these fools. I mean, straight up punish too. I don't ever want to, root for anybody to get hurt. But, hey, if you can knock a fool into next week, without killing them now, I don't want you to mess them up. But if he got to lead a game for a significant amount of time, I'm good with that. Better believe it. But other than that, man, shit, I don't have nothing else to say on it, man. So, Boomer sooner. Hopefully, these boys come on out and do what they got to do. Sipping Sooner and Corso, and we out of this bitch. Peace.